This is So Haunted, a faith-bold mystery, Book 14, written by Blake Pierce, read by Victoria. Prologue. Art was all about contrast. Melissa was probably the only sculptor she knew who understood that. Plenty of painters understood it. Photographers had come around to realizing that light wasn't the only aspect of an image. Architects had the basics down even if they weren't entirely aware why their minimalist functional designs were so appealing. But sculptors were all about fluidity. They insisted that everything needed to flow like water in order for a piece to be successful. Melissa didn't blame them. There was a certain satisfaction in making something hard and unyielding like marble seem soft and fluid like water. It demonstrated the artist's mastery over his craft. It was also boring as hell. Come on, guys, thousands of years of art, and all anyone wanted to do was mimic the same styles that had existed since ancient Greece. That wasn't entirely fair. There were other artists who dabbled in abstract sculpture that sort of used contrast. At least they weren't terrified of angles. But the trick was to use contrast throughout a piece and not as a simple geometric expression. Don't just bisect a rhombus with a triangle, do something with those shapes. Say something, damn it. That was what Melissa did, and that was why she was on the cover of this month's issue of Shape and Form magazine. At the moment, she was putting the finishing touches on a sculpture she entitled Dilemma. The sculpture was a massive bronze statue of a man's cranium with the skull open to expose the brain. This sculpture was set within an asymmetrical ring of triangles, rhombuses and cylinders that jutted at odd angles over the brain. It was her most ambitious piece to date and had taken her over a year to complete. But it was done, and it was beautiful. She took a step back and admired her work. "Raphael, eat your heart out." She laughed at that. Raphael probably would eat his heart out if he saw that. He was the prettiest of all the pretty sculptors, and if he saw that horrific mess of shapes and protrusions over an exposed brain, he would, well, eat his heart out. "Times change, buddy boy," Melissa said. She giggled at her irreverence and danced over to the refrigerator she kept in the studio. She always felt giddy when she completed a piece, and since completing this piece had taken so much of her time that it had torpedoed her latest relationship, she had no reason to go home tonight. So she would celebrate by getting as plastered as she possibly could. Woo-hoo, champagne time! She popped the cork of a 17-year-old Dom Perignon that the director of the Museum of Fine Art in Chicago had given her, and leaned back, gulping an obscene amount of the alcohol before taking it from her lips. She laughed again and danced around the studio, feeling as free as a bird. She didn't notice the shadow until it was too late. She heard a scraping noise and turned around to see one of her earlier works, a marble statue of a geisha holding a cobra up to her lips for...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?